What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. So today's video, we're going to be doing a quick install and fixing something, or hopefully fixing something that has bothered me about my truck, or about the truck, since the day I bought it. It's not a huge deal. It's just kind of one of those things that has always been an annoyance, and I finally got around to ordering the parts and getting the stuff to fix it. So hopefully we'll get that done. Second part of today's video, we'll be doing another update on the fuel system. Finally got all the parts in that I need, and so I think it's about time to start working on it. I'm probably going to be starting work on it this weekend. Hopefully make some good progress on it then. But I figured I'd give you guys a little update on it, show you all the different parts, all the fancy fittings and lines and whatnot. Should be pretty cool. I don't know how it is where you guys are, but right now the weather has been absolutely fantastic this week. It's killing me to sit inside and work on a computer all day for my job, but you know, you got to make money to do all this stuff. And YouTube sure isn't paying me enough to do that yet, so I'm stuck inside doing my job. But that being said, was able to get off a little bit early today. Already worked a few really long days this week, so cut it off a little bit early today to get some work done and enjoy the sunshine while I can. Us Oregonians got to soak up as much sun as we can while it's out. So with all that, enough rambling on. You guys don't really care about that, but whatever. I care about it, so you guys have to listen to it. Enough rambling on. Let me show you guys what's on the table over here, and then we'll go out to the truck and start doing the install. So as you can see, we have quite the staging of a lot of different parts. Still got the Mishimoto coolant reservoir down there. I haven't done anything with it yet, mainly because I just haven't gotten around to driving to go get it to my powder coater. But on top of that, I talked about making a custom engine cover in the last video. I got the steel for that, so I think I'm going to try my hand at that. Not 100% sure yet. I'll talk to you guys about that in a minute, but if I do, I want to get this powder coated and that powder coated at the same time. Just make it a little more efficient use of my time. The powder coater I used last time, it's about an hour, a little over an hour away from where I live, so we'll see. But that was kind of my initial plan, was to get that powder coated and get this powder coated at the same time so they look really good. Got all the fuel system parts in here. Rebuilt fuel bowl, that is spoken for. But if you want to know how to rebuild your fuel bowl, I have that in a video. Now, for what we're actually here for today. This thing right here. So what is this thing? Or things? This is door window seal trim. I don't know what you would call it. I've seen it called a lot of different things. What this distributor calls it is door window do. See if I can try this again. Door window do wipe weather strip. Say that 5 times really fast. There's the part number. I tried to find an OEM part and I could not find it anywhere. What these are those weather strips on the bottom outside of your window, so that when you roll down your window, it one, it doesn't let water go down into your door, and 2, when you roll down your window, it actually clears the dew off your window, hence the dew wipe weather strip. On my truck, the passenger side window, since the day I bought it 2 years ago, give or take, this hasn't cleared any of the dew off my window. And living in Oregon, it is wet a lot of the year. And so anytime I go to roll the window down to try to clear it off, rolls down, rolls back up, doesn't touch a single bit of the window, leaves it nice and watery, which isn't the end of the world. I've lived with it for 2 years now, but it's just kind of annoying having the water there and not being able to clear it off easily. So finally got around to ordering these. Like I said, they're not OEM, but I took them out of the packaging, and 1, they look like they're the right part, which is a good start, and 2, they seem to be really, really nice quality. Let's see if I can pull some out for you. Feel just like OEM, nice heavy duty. So I think it should work pretty well. I figured I'd do a little test for you guys. So I'll spray down the window and show you guys what I'm talking about, that it doesn't clear it at all. Then we'll get to installing these real quick. I think it should be pretty simple. I haven't done these before, but I looked it up. Doesn't look too hard. How hard could it actually be? Knock on wood. So let's head out to the truck. I'll spray down the window, show you guys what I'm talking about, and we'll install it. Nice trim removal tools. Right there. Let me know if you guys want to do a tour of the toolbox. Nothing crazy about it. U.S. General Harbor Freight Special. Super, super nice quality toolbox. No, it's not a Snap-on, but really, really solid toolbox. Let me know if you guys want to see more about it. But this is what we needed. Nice plastic trim removal tools. Again, here's the old girl for anybody that hasn't seen it. 2000 F250 Powerstroke, 7.3 liter. She's a good old girl. Lots of work done to her. Lots of work under the hood. She is pretty clean, except it is pollen season. That is all pollen. All up along that. That's nice and annoying. What can you do? I guess it's better than mud and water spots and dirt and whatnot. Alright, so we'll spray down the window. Mimic some water on it. That should be pretty good. Hopefully you guys will be able to see that from the inside. Nice handy dandy weed sprayer here. Works pretty good. Alright, so now we'll go inside, roll down the window, and show you guys how well it doesn't work. It's another issue right there. I don't know if the window's misaligned or whatnot, but it always like hangs up and slows down and gets stuck there. Doesn't really get stuck, it just gets hung up and slows down real bad, bogged down. Don't know if any of you guys else have had that issue, but it's really annoying. Now we'll roll it back up. And you'll see all the water is still there. Not sure how well you guys will be able to see it, but it's all there. Basically, didn't touch it. Here's another look. Rolling it down, I've greased up and lubed up the window track, and that helps sometimes. I feel like that's just a temporary band-aid fix for something that's actually not right. Like I said, if you guys know what's wrong, and you guys have had the same issue, let me know, because I'm kind of stumped at this point. But goes down totally fine, and then just bogs down at the bottom. So, I don't know what it is, but that's not on the agenda today. We'll be swapping that out. So this is what we're going to be replacing, is this strip right here. Really hoping I don't have to remove my mirrors. I don't really feel like doing that. It does go under there a little bit, but I think we might have enough room to sneak it past and pull it out. I think from everything I saw, it should just pop up and out of place, just prying it up. So I guess we'll find out. I'll let you guys know. Alright, good news and bad news. Good news is it's pretty darn easy to pop this off. Just held on by a couple little metal clips and friction on the inside. Bad news is I think there's another clip right underneath the mirror there, so we're gonna have to take it off, which shouldn't be too bad. No, I didn't break it. There's clips on it. I'm gonna try to just loosen up the bottom bolt there and the one back behind that grommet. See if I can loosen it up enough. Hopefully I got the right size socket. I chose 10 mil, but we'll see. I don't think it's 10 mil. Nope, looks like a 12. Alright, I'll be back. No, that's not the best angle, but it's what I can do. 10 mil is a little too small. I think it's probably 12 mil. So like any self-respecting man would do, I brought 11, 12, and 13. Because 12 is a little too big. I swear if it's not metric. 11 mil will do. And if you're working on these, be very careful not to drop them inside the door. Ask me how I know. Come on. There we go. Thank goodness. Alright, so now go through, clean off this little lip. It's pretty nasty. We'll take the new one. It's all good to go. See if I can slide this back underneath the mirror. There we go. Wow, that is a lot better. All installed. I'm going to show you that better on the other side, but it definitely is a much tighter seal than it was before. Tighten up the mirror, put it back together. Try not to strip these out. Just like that. It's all buttoned up. Alright, I'll flip you around. We'll go to the other side. Try to give you guys a quick look at this side. So you can kind of see what it looks like before and after. Here you can kind of see, or hopefully you can kind of see, that the whole weather strip is basically vertical, like pushed up in that direction. On the other side, when I installed the new one, it's almost like pushed down almost to that level. So obviously this one's definitely not sealing, because over time it's just worn out and been flopped up and worn out that way. So hopefully this should completely solve all our issues. You guys should be able to see pretty good from there. Good to go. It's all done. So let me show you guys what it looks like with the seal installed compared to the old one. Now this one has some gap, but as you can see, it is much more folded over. The other one was closer to that, almost straight up. So this should be good. I'll bolt up the mirror. We'll spray it down with some water. We'll test it out. Should be good to go. Pop the cover back on. Oh wait. Gotta go hunting for the grommet I dropped. We're in luck, it's close. Y'all don't know how much of a pain in the butt it is trying to retrieve things from under your truck. When you're in a wheelchair, you can't just crawl under there. And she's good. That project is done. I guess I shouldn't say that before I test it, but I think the project's done. Alright, so you guys should be able to see. Window is all nice and wet again. Slows down, all annoying like. Rolling back up. All nice and wet again. Well, that experiment didn't work quite as well as I had hoped it to, but all in all, I think my objective was complete, and the new seals will be a whole lot better than the old ones. Just visually looking at it, I can tell it makes a much bigger seal, and I think it's just because it was just straight water on it that it really didn't look like it was doing much to clear it, but I think it was actually condensation or dew in the morning, kind of that normal dew. I don't know if you get that in other states for the most part. I know here in Oregon it happens all the time. A little bit higher humidity. Either way, rambling. I think it will make a big difference in terms of that. I don't know how much I'll actually have to deal with it over the summer, but nonetheless, it's done. They look nice and new. Won't be scratching up my windows at all. They were, I would imagine they were most likely original seals. Had a little bit of dirt and grime in them. Suppose I could have washed that out, but just kind of leaves those little tiny micro scratches up and down the window every time it goes up and down. So either way, it wasn't very expensive. I don't know, it was probably $40 or something to get those. So they're done. Something I've been meaning to do. Now I can check that off the list. So now moving on to the fuel system update, like I told you guys about, give you guys a little update on what I have in. I think I have all the parts in now, so I'll show you guys that and give you a little update on something I think I'm going to change a little bit on how I'm going to approach it, and then a problem I've run into, or I think I've run into. So yeah, let's get into that. I got it set up on the table here, and I'll turn you guys around and show it. Here it is. Here is the whole pile of goodies that I received in the mail this last weekend. As you can see, got the nice AN braided line here. Color tone on this is a little weird. Let me change that real quick. There we go. That's a little bit better. So like I said, this is the pile of goodies that I received over the weekend. Nice braided AN line. Got some AN fittings. Obviously, I already guys showed you the Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator, kind of the heart of the new system, and then a whole pile of different AN fittings. Now, this was a pretty expensive purchase, nothing crazy. I think all in all, it was probably like, including the regulator, $300. I think the regulator itself was about $150, $160. That was definitely the most expensive part of all this. This was, I think it was in the high 100s, but the place I ordered it from, let's see if I can find their card. Here we go. Not sponsored by them at all. anhosefittings.com. I just searched one of the size of hose fittings I needed, and their company came up as one of the top ones. I went to it, and they had everything I needed to find, and the prices were as good or better than what I was finding on Amazon. Now, what really made me choose this company, I don't know if they're running a sale or something with a virus going on or whatever, but they knocked off like $60 off my purchase. It wasn't like a coupon code. It wasn't a sponsorship. It was literally like added it to the cart, and it showed like 25 or something % off the entire order for whatever reason. So I don't know if they do that all the time, but they did it when I used it, and it saved me a good chunk of change. So this ended up being, I think I got all these fittings and everything and the hose for probably around 120, 130 bucks, which wasn't too bad. These are some pretty high quality fittings. I guess if you haven't seen the last video, I'm not going to go through and explain the entire system again of what I'm thinking. But basically, I have the CNC fuel system. I want to change it to a regulated return system up on the fuel rails itself, and so that's what I'm going through and completing this. You can see it in more detail on my last video. One problem I have run into with all this, and something I totally spaced and totally didn't think about, is I told you guys I wanted to build a custom engine cover for the top of the engine to kind of cover up all the valley of the engine, all the dirty wiring and fuel lines and different stuff up there, and make it look kind of cool, powder coat it, put a cool design in it, and just do something cool and special other than just the standard Powerstroke cover that comes on these Super Duty trucks. I still really want to do that, but for any of you guys familiar with these trucks, know that that engine cover covers where the fuel bowl is, and that is exactly where I was planning on putting this, was right around where the fuel bowl goes, which means that's where the new custom engine cover will go. So I'm running into the problem of, do I do the custom engine cover at all if I'm doing this fuel system, or do I move the fuel system off to the side and still do the engine cover? I kind of want to have this right in the middle where the fuel bowl normally would go. It doesn't have to be, but that was kind of what was in my head. So a couple things I've thought of is maybe on the custom engine cover have like a little cutout in the middle. I guess I should say I want to have pretty good access to this without having to remove everything just to get to it. I guess I don't really need to, but that's kind of my thought. So I'm thinking two routes I might go. One, move this thing either forward on the engine so it's not underneath the cover, it's more forward, like almost above the belt, or move it over to the side either by the alternator or the AC condenser or compressor, or cut out like a little cutout and actually have almost like the basically have this thing poking up through it with the fuel lines coming off each side that run down underneath the cover. I don't know, I'm not really showing it very well, but basically have a little window and that pops up and the lines around. I think it could look pretty cool like that, having the custom cover, having the regulator kind of poking out from underneath it in the middle of it. That's the route I'm leaning. I don't know how hard it's going to be. Right now, the custom cover will be sitting on the factory bracket like this, bolted down flat here, and so maybe have the fuel pressure regulator kind of sticking out of it like this. You got to picture the sheet of flat steel on top of this bracket, and then having the regulator kind of poking out of it like that. Kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know how hard it's going to be. It will definitely be a little more complex to do that, but I think I could still get away with it. We'll see. But I wanted to give you guys a quick little peek of all the parts that I've in. I do think I have all the fittings and hoses and everything I need to run the system now. So that means this weekend is when I'm actually going to be, I think, starting the install of it. And then, of course, that'll probably be the next video for you guys. So another thing I kind of thought of over this last week of I think I'm going to change paths a little bit is originally I said I'm going to plumb the air dog into the factory fuel pump and then run that up into the heads. I really kind of want to see... Cool old convertible over there. I really kind of want to see how well the air dog does with a regulated return system, or with it feeding the regulated return system, not using the high pressure pump or the factory pump. Kind of my thought process behind this is right now I've said I'm dropping at most 10 psi under wide open throttle, usually between 2 to 5 psi under normal driving conditions, just daily driving. So something I want to see is that fuel pressure dropping because of how the whole fuel system is plumbed, or is it dropping because the air dog just can't keep up with the fuel demands? And so if I do both these changes at one time, I can't really rule out whether it's the fuel system or the air dog. And so I think what I'm going to do is not use the factory high pressure pump yet. I'm going to be using the high pressure pump to feed the fuel system and then have that be running into the regulated return. So by doing it that way, I think it'll allow me to kind of rule out where the fuel pressure is dropping from, whether it'll be from the fuel system routing or is it the air dog that just can't keep up with the fuel demands. And honestly, I don't know. And so this is my solution of figuring that out. I think in the end, no matter which way it goes, I'm going to end up tying in the factory fuel pump. I like the reliability of the factory fuel pump, and I like the idea of both pumps working less hard, which should give them both much longer lifespans. And just reliability goes, I like the thought of all that. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is not hook up the factory fuel pump yet, run it straight off the air dog into the new regulated return that I'm going to be building on the truck this weekend, or start this weekend, and then we'll go from there. So I think this will, one, answer a lot of my questions, two, answer a lot of questions people have for me, and in general, it's basically just another learning experience for me to kind of figure out different ways of doing things. And so that's kind of where all this comes from. A lot of people ask me, how do you learn to do all this? Where did you learn to do all this? You know so much more than I do. People are constantly asking me questions about this kind of stuff. And to be completely honest with you guys, I have no actual training on automotive stuff. Everything I know is stuff I've just jumped out and done on my own, gone online, done the research. To me, that is the best way to learn. Obviously, people make entire careers out of this kind of stuff, and they usually end up going to school, some sort of automotive school or diesel school, and they learn all the stuff that way. I didn't do any of that. I don't claim to be a professional. There's a lot of stuff I don't know. But in general, everything I do know has basically just been doing research online and then doing it and trying it myself. It's the best way to learn it. It's the best advice I can give people. Don't be afraid to get out there and try it. I know myself, I have messed up. I've broken things. It's cost me more money. I think in the long run, though, it has saved me a lot of more money, as opposed to bringing it into a shop and just letting them do it. But for the most part, I like working on my own rigs. I enjoy the process of learning how things work, how they go together. I enjoy the physical aspect of actually completing something and accomplishing something. I think there's a lot of stuff to be said about that that physical reward of getting something done. So I just enjoy it. And if you're afraid of not knowing how to do something, there is endless information out there on the internet. Just spend some time, do some research. People ask me questions all the time on how to do it, and I'll do like a 30-second Google search, pull up a couple of quick answers, and I'll shoot them a message. If I know it off the top of my head, I'll answer it. But a lot of the time, it just takes a quick search online to be able to find what you're looking for. So if you are concerned about doing projects like this on your own rig, I would say don't be. It gets into a whole different issue if you rely on this rig every single day, which I do have somewhat of that issue, but right now during the quarantine I don't really have to deal with that right now, so I can afford for it to be down. But some people can't afford for their rigs to be down. Totally understandable. They just need it done. Bring it into a shop, get it done quick. But if you can afford to have it down a little bit and go through the learning process, I think it's better in the long run. I'm not going to ramble on too much more. Just figured I'd get that out there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I know it wasn't anything too crazy or too exciting. We should be getting into some cool content now. Weather's just beautiful out right now. Makes me want to get out there, get something done when I have the time under my crazy work schedule. But either way, I think now that the weather's nicer, we should be able to start getting more and more projects done. I am really thinking about starting that project on the F-150 I showed you guys on the side yard. I think it'd be a pretty cool summer project, and it's kind of an old truck that I've always thought would be cool to work on and cool to restore. I've talked about it in the past, but basically that is my great-grandparents' F-150 that they bought off the Ford dealership lot back in 1979. It's been in the family since. It was my first truck. I don't know, it'd be a cool project to work on, so we'll see. I am thinking it would be fun. Either way, I think that's enough rambling for today's video. I'm looking at 15 minutes on the clock right now just for this one clip. So I think I'm going to call it there. If you guys made it this far in the video, I'm guessing you guys liked it, so leave it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I should be able to get back to just about everybody that does. And with that, hopefully you guys enjoy your weekend. It's absolutely beautiful here. Going to try to get a lot of work done. Stay safe out there. Catch you guys on the next video.